nobody can be same long time. Nobody. No Tony Ferguson, no Khabib, nobody. And one day, someone gonna beat you.
The point that I'm trying to get at while I'm dancing around is this could be Tony's last fight.
Tony Ferguson, also coined as El Kukui or the Boogeyman, has been a mainstay in the UFC, with many younger fans being incapable of remembering MMA before Tony graced our television screens. Since his debut in season 13 of The Ultimate Fighter in 2011, El Kukui has thrilled fans across the globe with his exciting yet unorthodox fighting spinning attacks, and rolling submission attempts. His iconic 12-fight win streak firmly put him on the map, yet the last few years have been painful to say the least. His unfortunate decline in mental health and the subsequent losses have been covered extensively by many on this platform. It truly is painful for many fans of El Kukui to watch, as he is subjected to merciless knockouts and submissions, perhaps marking a foregone conclusion that his best days are well behind him. However, the courage and grit that he showed in many of these defeats suggests there is in fact life in the old dog yet.
You gotta put yourself through the sacrifice, because for a fight like this, you gotta live it. And if you're not living it, you're in the wrong damn sport.
The determination which has inspired so many does in fact remain, even as the fighter limps towards UFC 296. Maybe Ferguson simply needs a catalyst to relight the once brightly burning flame.
Man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. So that's the only purpose I fucking need.
He literally reads out things his haters say in comments and records it.
Oh, so he does,
and
he reads the comments.
And then listens to it while he runs. God.
Get it, 17!
They don't know me, son!
Get it, 18!
They don't know me, son!
Get it, 19!
They don't know me, son!
Yeah!
For those left wondering, this is David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL who is quite simply one of the cornerstones of grind culture, not solely in the fitness space, but also in business, intellectual thought, and general self-improvement. He has potentially the strongest will and mindset, definitely in the internet space, if not the entire world, and regularly pushes himself to the brink. He competes in ultra marathons, sets pull-up records, and regularly dives into freezing lakes. Ultimately, he's insanely disciplined. But how does this individual fit into Tony Ferguson's life script?
David Goggins, Tony Ferguson, training together.
David Goggins, training Tony Ferguson.
David Goggins slams UFC fans for stupid comments about him training Tony Ferguson.
When two worlds collide, it can truly be a spectacle to witness, and this new relationship is very much that. A former Navy SEAL and perhaps the most savage UFC fighter of recent times, combining forces. But will this be a positive step for Tony's chances at UFC 296? Or does it represent a desperate final attempt to offset an inevitable decline? Let's delve into the arguments.
But when it comes to how old he is and running down his body and his knees,
yeah. Let's run 20 miles on the treadmill and then let's go fucking hit a circuit.
And the point that I'm trying to make is when you only have so much energy, where you put it is extremely relevant.
David looks like he's like hanging out at Planet Fitness.
Tony's standing up.
Tony's dying.
I just think he's going to be overtrained to death, and he's already 39 years of age, you know what I mean? I just don't understand why he's doing it.
Overtraining. This appears to be the main concern from former MMA fighters and fans when it comes to Goggins' training methods. So let's delve into what this actually entails. On his Instagram, Goggins stated that day one of Tony's Hell Week consisted of 3+ hours of high intensity training, over 600 push-ups, tons of chest exercises, stair climber, assault bike, rowing and elliptical before repeating. Although on the surface it seems to be excessive, statements from former training partners about prior Ferguson camps, plus online footage, suggest that Tony always goes to intense lengths when preparing.
I was teammates with Tony Ferguson. I trained at the Rain Training Center every single day with Tony Ferguson. I have never seen anybody in my life work as hard as Tony Ferguson.
I would like to see what his conditioning workout is, because Eddie goes with him up to Big Bear, and he trains with him, and he says, "You never seen anything like it." He said everybody else in the camp can't keep up with him. So he works out a legitimate 6 hours a day.
I'm not doing hill sprints, I'm doing mountain sprints. This is what inspires me and gets me to move.
This Hell Week could therefore be not too dissimilar to previous fight camps. I personally feel that, due to Goggins' Navy SEAL background and the terrifying connotations associated with Hell Week, a number of individuals have instantly overblown how grueling the training perhaps is. Many assume that Ferguson is literally being subjected to what soldiers go through.
You get 4 hours of sleep, you're not allowed to have any caffeine, so...
In this grueling 5-day stretch, each candidate runs more than 200 miles and sleeps only a total of 4 hours during the entire time. The rigorous schedule involves at least 20 hours of physical training each day.
Granted, his vomiting signals a high level of discomfort from the training, but it's unlikely to be as harmful or crippling as we've seen in past military Hell Weeks. Yet there's still one counter-argument to this which I'm possibly overlooking.
He's already 39 years of age, you know what I mean? I just don't understand why he's doing it.
Oh, a guy approaching 40, but he's still taking on guys that were just as young. He's still doing the same thing.
The prevailing reason behind Tony's 6-loss streak certainly isn't a lack of effort or stamina. He has routinely showed a decent level of endurance in the later rounds in a number of these bouts. And yet, age is a great leveler, slowly sapping the strength of fighters as the clock ticks by. The training of a 32-year-old Ferguson in Mexico should look drastically different to the current preparation. Goggins' insane regimen may somewhat emulate or surpass previous fight camps, but this could be detrimental if it burns the finite energy an almost 40-year-old Ferguson still has. So it may not be the Hell Week regimen burning him out, but the accumulation of years will inevitably have reduced his stamina capacity. Yet some have postulated it's not the overtraining which is the problem, it's the training itself.
Now remember, what David is doing with Tony also has to go to boxing practice and kickboxing practice and jiu-jitsu practice and wrestling practice and sparring.
It's no secret that Tony's recent bouts have seen a woeful demonstration of defense. His striking has always been top tier, and yet he persistently leaves himself open to incur substantial damage, frequently lowering his hands to afford the opponent free rein on his face and chin. Former opponent Bobby Green highlighted how he feels Goggins' intensive cardio is detracting from the bigger issues. Just jab a little better, his head movement a little better. It's nothing to do with his heart or his cardio. While this argument does hold weight, Ferguson has always adopted this high risk, high reward sort of style, luring his opponents in before countering. At 39, I highly doubt his style can be drastically changed, as the old adage goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Granted, the overemphasis on cardio could certainly leave his chin exposed against Paddy at UFC 296. Now, it's important to remember the context surrounding Ferguson's fight camp. The fighter has suffered 6 consecutive losses, has a history of battling mental health issues, and his ex-wife's account of his ongoing behaviour does portray a man with paranoid schizophrenia. His determination and willingness to endure immense pain is evident, yet mentally he is likely very fragile and unstable. Goggins' methods are based upon building up a person, not only physically but mentally. With what could be Ferguson's last fight, he'll need to rebuild a solid mental state and confidence.
Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. We all look for toughness. We all want it, but we look for it in a comfortable environment. You will not find toughness in a comfortable environment.
Through this Hell Week, Ferguson's mental toughness will be reinforced, and hopefully this may indirectly influence his overall confidence in his fighting capabilities after crushing losses. He will therefore find himself in a far better headspace to begin intensive fight training in the weeks leading up to UFC 296. There are certainly past indications that Ferguson's own philosophy aligns heavily with Goggins' principles, suggesting he could respond well to the Navy SEALs' influence in general.
When I'm hurt, I love it. I love that feeling because it's real. That's the most realest feeling that you could ever have, is being in pain, because everything else, happiness could be fake, crying could be fake, but pain, shit.
You gotta get in the hospital now. And I just said, just shut up and let me enjoy this pain. I don't want anything to numb it. I don't want anything right now. Because what I had done was I just climbed a mental wall.
In conclusion, I personally feel Tony's unrivaled determination, embracing of mental struggles and pain, alongside his elite work ethic, provides him with the necessary tools to excel under Goggins' leadership. After the losses, he has found himself in a hole, and if his 39-year-old frame can continue to function, he stands a great chance of overcoming the slump at 296. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. It helps more than you can imagine. Also, why not give me a follow on Instagram at AlexIsn'tAlpha, where I've been posting some comedic and insightful reels. So go check that out if you want. And yeah, have a great day. All the best. Cheers.